prices those who are trading against a basket of stocks, against an option position, against an ETF.
And we are live on this Friday. Now we're starting off on the 4-hour chart. Let's look at the context. Obviously, the 4-hour is bearish. Break this low here. Let me clear out my chart. And we broke this low here. The next drawn liquidity should be down here. Let's see if the market can hit this low today. So we obviously bearish. There's no if and buts about this. We bearish. And if we get a shift in the market today, our next drawn liquidity gonna be the 4-hour high. That's what I'm going for. This one, the current candle. So this is it. That's our frame. That's our range. That's where we're gonna play. Let's go. Let's shift down to the 15. See how the market's playing out. Very bearish. Let's get rid of this. We're done with this. If you draw a trend line from here to here, that will be too far out. But let's from here to here. This is what we're looking at. Very bearish. Price is falling. We do not catch a falling knife. And our trading window is 10 to 11. That's it. So we doing nothing but waiting and riding our bikes. Ride and trade, baby. Ride and trade. So my plan for the day, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a low to be broken, liquidity sweep. And I'm going to be looking for market structure shift. And my entry going to be somewhere here to take it to the upside. That's the plan. That's what I'm looking for. And hopefully somewhere around there, there will be a fair value gap or breaker block or some sort of order block somewhere around there. That's the plan. That's the trade. That's what we're looking for. If that doesn't happen, guess what? There's no trade. I'm not going to short when the market is falling off the cliff like this. We do not short the low. We do not buy the high. We're not breakout traders. That's not what we do. So now we wait. 5-minute chart. Looking good. I don't think it's too much to ask for the market to go back to that high right here, the 4-hour high. That's all I'm gonna be going for. But I need to see the shift and get it set up. If I don't get the shift, and I would prefer this low to be taking right here, this 4-hour low right here. If this low gets swept, like I draw here, swept, and then we get the shift, the entry setup present itself, it's go time. We put our trading in, put our stop loss in, and we're hanging in there. And our stop get taken out, or we get some meat out of this chunk. Let's go. We are here. In the meantime, we're not doing anything. We're riding a spinning bike. Spin, baby. Let's stay fit. If you don't have a bike, you should buy one. By the way, I don't think my camera is working. I've been having some problem with this camera. What in the actual hell? Come on. Oh, God. I don't even remember how much I spent on this camera. If anyone has some ideas for cameras, let me know. I gotta replace that one. Yeah, this baby's not working. But why though? I cannot tell why. Let me try to test my camera on here. Yeah, that's it right here. It's working. Why is it not working when I try to stream? Oh, now that we have proof of concept, that's how camera is working. Let's see what we can do with the stream. Ride and trade. Woohoo! Ride and trade. Why is my camera not working over here? What's going on? No idea what's going on. So, we are still waiting for 10 o'clock. I hate when that happens. I need to keep seeing my plan. Break the block.
I'm gonna like get ready on the mouse in the next 5 seconds and close the pub rock. Alright, I'm gonna close this way returning. What was that? Alright, close is closed. Alright. Because it's been very, very weak. You know, I want to get it in case it wanted me to work, so. Or out of that. I don't really want to do it now, so I'm gonna go back to the drawing board. Okay. It would be a crazy day. Alright. Mostly short, mostly variable, bearish, short Nasdaq, it remains. So I still have this level. It remains weak under previous month low. If we
There's a fair value back, fair value gap right here.
could be a reversal, but
That could be our setup, but it's not 10 o'clock yet.
bearish here.
I'm working on my discipline, so
Okay.
I'm not doing anything until it's 10.
That's fine. Drop it. Oh, yeah. That's fine.
That's our fair value gap right here. Waiting for 10 o'clock to place order.
It's an important area now for NASDAQ. Let's see if it takes the 3 plus. Or if it bounces. Which is this.
Market structure shift. Shifting to the upside. 9 more minutes until 10 o'clock. See if we get our pullback to the fair value gap here. That's our entry. Discipline is the key. If the market wanna run away without us, so be it. We'll come back next week. This is the trade. Right here. Entry here. Stop below the low. And we're gonna target the 4-hour high. That's the trade up for the day. After 10 o'clock. If that doesn't happen, there's no trade. If that doesn't happen, there's no trade.
So, at this moment we're at 15 minutes point of potential rejection for that. And this is the FEG that was previous month low for NASDAQ, so. Alright, it's wicking it actually. have some close over previous monthly low. Let's see if this works. I would just go up to new line there. Seems like that's what we're doing. I think that there's plenty of people waiting that I don't want to look like oh, don't put me in my profit yet. Okay, cool. That's what I'm doing. Alright. So I had a pretty good idea that it's not gonna retrace because I dumped below previous monthly low, came back up. So there's plenty of people that are short and
Oh wow. Looks like this trade is going without us. Are you serious, man? Look at this reversal. Give us that double bottom at the bottom here and then never look back.
they'll keep warning them potentially out. We have these people highs up here. Love it to
Without the pullback, there's no trade. Let's wait and see what happens.
Okay, so we didn't remain heavy below this level, so that's why I went for longs. Let's see. I don't know what this is. No. It's remaining really strong here. 1 minute, dipped back into it. This bullish energy. We make a new high, but just really stop below that. Yeah. That was pretty good. So stop below this and say 570s.
Ciao! We have some delicious flavored sparkling water crafted in Italy.
If you want to start live streaming on YouTube, there are two ways you can do it. First, you could go live directly from YouTube itself, or you could use streaming software to level up your production. Either way, what's great about live streaming is that the second your stream ends, your video is already published on YouTube. There's no editing, no uploading, nothing like that. It's truly one of the most efficient ways you can make content on YouTube. But so this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to go live on YouTube. So step one is we need to verify feature eligibility in our channel to begin with. You got to make sure we can actually go live. So if you're on the main YouTube interface, you want to click your profile, make sure you dive into your YouTube studio account. The back end of YouTube is where you're going to check this feature. Now scroll all the way down to the left side of your screen to settings. Then you're going to click on channel, it's the second tab right there, and then over to feature eligibility. Now you need to make sure that standard features, of course, those will be enabled just by having an account. But specifically, we need to make sure level 2 intermediate features are enabled. And you do this by verifying the phone number. So if you've already done this, then of course it will already look just like this. But if you have not done this, it will look something like this. Here's a second profile that I have, and it says I have not done this. I'm eligible though, so I need to verify my phone number to enable this feature. So just go ahead and do that, and that will enable my stream. But while you're here, it's not a bad idea to enable advanced features as well by submitting video verification for a valid form of ID or just having a long enough channel history. Those are what enable advanced features, and this allows you to embed live streams and create more live streams daily. So there's a chance you actually do want to make sure the advanced features are also there. So at this point, you're actually ready to just go ahead and get your live stream set up. So if you're on the home screen of YouTube, go up to the top right corner, click create. You're not going to upload a video. We're actually going to go live right away. And you're not going to go live right away. Don't worry. Don't panic. Right now, you're just going to set up your dashboard and all the settings for your live stream. So the first box you'll see is it opens up live stream. And this is where you're going to dial in some of the details of your stream. Today, they just call this test stream. That's totally fine. And then this is where you can insert the description of what the live stream is going to be. Because remember, a lot of times for regular uploads, you do this after the fact. Since you're going live right away, you've got to do this all before. This is also where you would upload a thumbnail prior to your upload. You want to make sure that you do that, or it'll just select a random still frame, which is good. You can add this to a playlist. Make sure you select if it's made for kids. You can do all of these other things like tags as well, and you can also adjust the impact of that. So pull out all of your details. Select if you want monetization on or off. Have that ability. I'll just turn it on and I'll do automatic listening. For manual ads is fine. Customization is you want live chat features, your chat replay, all of these things. You can participate in the message. If you only want it for subscribers or live commentary, you can decide all of these things for yourself depending on what the live stream is about. And now we've got to do the visibility. Who do we actually want to see our stream? Make it a private stream, unlisted, or public. If you choose public, and then after this you hit go live, it'll be live right away for the world to see. For the sake of this tutorial, we'll just make it private, or you can also schedule your stream to go live. So those are all the details. It really doesn't take that long to get a stream set up. You just gotta have all of your description details, your title of your stream, your thumbnail. You just gotta make sure you have those prior to go live. Now after you hit done, a little stream preview window will pop up. You can edit even your title details or about your description if you would like to. Also, you can select your video and audio sources. So for this, I selected my family 4K, which is my MX30 that I'm using right now. It's plugged in my computer via my family. And I've selected my Rodecaster, which is the podcast microphone setup and interface that I have right here. When I'm ready, I can just go ahead and hit go live, and we'll be live right away. So you gotta make sure you're ready to go live as soon as we hit this button. You can also hit the share button right next to that if you wanted to copy this link to your screen to invite people to watch. So at this point, with everything ready,
Oh man,
to go live.
the trade went all the way without us. Bummer. Oh, you kidding me? Look at that. All the way without any pullback at all to our entry. I hate when that happens. What are you gonna do? This is trading for you.
There's a share link. Also, think about like
Yes, we gotta come up with another plan. Alright, let's go back on the 4 hour. See what we're dealing with.
At the very bottom, if you were reacting to things, or you have like a presentation, like a slideshow, you could share your screen right here natively with inside the YouTube interface. You can also edit some details of your stream in real time if you wanted to do that.
We are
Over
at
here
the
on the
4
very
hour
right
high
side is
here.
your chat window. So as you want to live stream and interface with your guests, who are actually corresponding with you in the chat, doing things, this is where you would talk with them. So you can talk to people. Yay, over here we're talking to people. I'm the creator, so it highlights me. You can also do like emoji reactions. You can engage with your audience in ways like starting Q&A. All of these are cool ways to interact with your audience just to elevate your stream. In the top left corner too is a like counter of how many people have liked your live stream, as well as the total participants who are actually watching live at that time. So that feels really good. Now once your stream is completely finished, you just click the end stream button on the very top right. Wait a second or two, and it also prompts you to make sure you're actually sure you want to end this. You would hit end, and that's what's going to end your live stream. After your stream is over, you'll get a quick recap of some key analytics that might be helpful, like how many people watch, the average view duration, the total chats that you had, subscribers. All of this is good information to know. And if you wanted to, you can click.
Look at this move. Straight up. No pullback whatsoever. Wow. Yeah, let's wait for another setup. See what happens. All we can do now is watch. Keep watching.
Software to access order features. And here at the video, we love using Riverside as a long-time partner.
All right, a new high is
The
made.
benefit of using
Now we're gonna be watching this low here.
add fun animated titles.
This will become interesting for us.
Or even add guests to your live stream and do some like creative live switching in real time. Also enable high quality local reports on all participants' devices so you don't lose the quality if you want to repurpose your content later. Server-side is great. If you do want to try it out, I'll link it in the description of this video. And you can use code media to check out some free other products. So this is what the dashboard inside of Riverside looks like. And all you want to do in your home screen is just click the Go Live button. Once you click that, this interface will pop up, which is kind of your staging area for making sure all of your tag and audio is proper. So you can input your name right here, which could be helpful. Also indicate if you are using headphones or are not. So I am not using headphones right now. Make sure all of your camera inputs and audio and speaker inputs are the right selections for whatever you have input. And then once all of that's done, you'll click this Join Studio button. Now, once you're in your main studio interface, the first thing we need to do is make sure Riverside and YouTube can talk to each other for live streaming. So if you go ahead and straight up and click this plus button, adds certain destinations to YouTube. So all you would do is click Add Destination, select YouTube, or if you wanted a multi-stream platforms, you would do that right here. I've already connected my Craig account, which is add destination, click YouTube, make sure you follow the steps to make sure Riverside and YouTube can talk to each other. Now, once you're connected, you can also hit these three dots right here that say edit or remove. Then you'll want to edit details. And this will be important for the exact live stream that you're just about to do. So you can title the live stream whenever you want to test live stream to Greg's channel, or it's totally fine for this. Then you'll want to introduce
Another high.
as well as the privacy settings.
Still bullish.
Now the next thing we'll do is click the settings icon right here.
Still bullish. So we're dealing with this trend line right here.
Record internally to your computer all at the same time that you're actually live streaming, so you don't lose the quality. So I'm choosing 4K quality, which is awesome. I can record in 4K, and then my streaming resolution is like 1080. And you can add participants to your live stream. You can add an in-person guest, somebody who's right next to you, or a remote guest. If you want to send a link to a person, I can just copy this link, shoot it over to like Nathan from the media team, and we can podcast together, or do a live stream together on Riverside.
This is looking like a liquidity sweep.
Like side by side right
The weeks tell the story. Let's see what happened. Ooh. Still going out.
So there's some creative, dynamic things you can do with the camera angles, kind of like real-time switching, which is awesome. That really elevates your quality over the baseline.
Still going higher.
Additionally, there are some other settings down here at the bottom of the interface that are really important. Like you can do like quickly, you can choose layouts, you can even upload a script or using like a teleprompter if you had different things you want to make sure you see the words of. You can upload those right here to Riverside. You could also share a screen. So if I wanted to share my screen right now, let's say I wanted to share an entire window. Let's say this one right here on my secondary monitor. Now I can share my screen in full screen mode. Or if I even wanted to, I could bring in like a little picture effect or a little circle in the corner or a side-by-side split screen.
We're still bullish.
And all of these transitions too are built
Let the market play out.
It's kind of like live switching. And I can scroll around in here and show you some of the best on time deals. And when I want to stop sharing, I just stop sharing. I brought myself back to full screen. On the right side, there's also these chat features, which are really cool because not only is there public chat, like what's going on inside YouTube, message participants or live with you right now, but also there's a studio chat, a back-end chat for all of the producers or guests who are in your chat. You can talk to each other privately. So there's like a little chat window inside of Riverside to talk to your studio guests. I was waiting for 4 hours for closure.
Because 7500 on the yes was my key level, and I want he's gonna hold the buffer below. Answering your question. Yeah, it's possible, but probably you need to wait for the trade. Trade. You cannot go up. I mean, you can, but you cannot go up without. Did you ever? Of course. Of course, my friend. I never tried it.
That's the level we're looking at now.
I built my accounts.
Let me clear my charts, because obviously
Before this, I blew
my play did not play out. We got a new play. This low right here is very interesting to us. I will break up this low. We'll look for a short entry.
I always open and transparent about it.
Right now, we're playing the candle range theory. The 4-hour high has been broken. The market structure shift on the 1 minute. With the fair value gap, that's my entry. CRT, candle range theory. Let's go. Right now, we're playing the candle range theory. The 4-hour high has been broken.
So my plan was, I actually practiced yesterday.
Hopefully we make a new high here. Break the high. One more push. Break the high so we can raise our level. Make it higher, higher low. Come on, baby. One more push. We don't like double tops. There you go. We just made a new high. Now we're gonna be watching this low. Right here. Just a wick. I don't like wicks. There you go. I want a body close above the previous high. Body. There you go. Big candle. The momentum is to the upside. If you step in front of this freight train, I don't know. Your own peril. That's the level we're looking at right now. This level here. And we have this other block right here. We're gonna keep an eye on that too. Well, since we're in bearish mode now, let's make everything right. That's what we're looking at. We got this level and this other block. And there's a fair value gap being formed. Bullish fair value gap. Patience is the key. We're not doing anything until the momentum matches the direction we want to take our trading. Until then, we're riding our bike, baby. We're riding our bikes and we're waiting. Patience is key. Wow, look at this move. That was the play. That was my playbook for the day. But the pullback never happened after 10. So it is what it is. My trading time is 10 to 11. I don't do anything before 10. Doesn't matter how many trades I miss, I'll come back the next day. That was the play. Right now we bearish. Candle range theory. The 4-hour candle high just got broken. Right here. The 4-hour candle high got broken right here. We are in a bearish move overall on the S&P 500. So how many down candle we had in the 4-hour? Now those two trying to make him break for it. Let's see what happens. We're not bullish at all. We're waiting for a market structure shift and an entry model to get in there. Now we have a bearish fair value gap forming. If it holds, the bearish fair value gap is forming. Did not hold. It did not hold. Doesn't matter.
Let's wait for
We're waiting for the shift. Market structure shift. Once the shift happens, that's the play. If we can get a fair value gap right where the other block is, that's the unicorn model for those ICT fans. Let's go. The bearish fair value gap is formed at the exact spot where the breaker block is. That's a unicorn model. The momentum is shifting. The momentum is shifting. I would like to see a big back handle to break the low. I don't want to see no wicks. The wicks can be a fake out and then go to the upside. We want to see a big back handle to break the higher low. I would prefer to see one more liquidity sweep to the upside, just to stop everybody out. Ooh, she's bearish too. Bearish club. That's the play. The bad play, that's the play. Right? Ooh, I told you. What did I tell you? The weeks tell the story. I knew they were gonna go for the liquidity. I knew it. They all stopped out. We're still waiting at the same low. There's no higher low. Wow, the momentum is strong to the upside. We do not jump in front of a straight and moving train. That's not what we do here. Patience is our superpower. We're waiting. Ride and trade, baby. Burning calories and waiting. Stay fit while trading. Ride your bike. I don't know why my camera is not showing up, but I'll figure that out for next week. For now, let's focus on this market. That's the play. Let me put on my short tool on here. The play gonna be this. That's gonna be the play. Gonna target that low. That's the play. But we need the shift to happen first before we place our order. Market structure shift. That's gonna be the beautiful trade right there. Hopefully it comes back, pull back to give us our entry. Unlike the last time. We're still going higher. Wow. We are still going higher. Let's see the euro. What is the euro doing? What's the euro doing? That's my second favorite market. Ooh, same move on the euro. We're making higher high and higher low. And that's the low to be broken to go short. Same thing going on in the euro. Making higher high and higher lows. Same thing. Let's go back to our market. S&P 500 futures. Still making higher high. And this fair value gap up here can be an entry to the short side when it turns into an inverse fair value gap. IVG. That can be an even better entry.
I don't know why. I always think about this, right? I always see
Right here.
like from my
Stop here. The 1 to 5. Do you want all of that? Probably not. But that's the plan. 1 to 5. This is beautiful. Now where's my trend line? Is this thing keep deleting my stuff? Come on, stop deleting my drawing. Wow. That's the trend line right here. Trend still holding. Trend still holding. Where's my trend line? Is this thing keep deleting my stuff? Come on, stop deleting my drawing. Wow. Trend line right here. Trend still holding. Trend still holding. What's going on though, man? That's the only trade we're gonna be waiting for today. If it doesn't, one trade a day, one bullet in the chamber. Silver bullet, baby. One trade a day. Win or lose, we out of here. And enjoy our Friday. TGIF, baby. Movie night. Let's go. This is beautiful. One bullet in the chamber. One trade a day. Keep the blown account away. One trade a day, keep the blown account away. Drink the water. Ride and trade. This market is looking beautiful today. I really hope I get into the fair value gap entry, the bullish fair value gap entry I had earlier. But it was not 10 o'clock. That's my mark right here. By the time 10 o'clock come around, it's already way up here. Nothing I can do. Just wait for my time. 10 to 11. It's 10:21. 11 o'clock right here. If we don't get our entry by then, this is it. We're done. We got a life to live, baby. 1 hour a day. We done. That's not our entry. We need to see the market structure shift first. Then we enter. That's the play. We need to see the shift first. Right now the market is still bullish. We do not show the bullish market, bullish momentum. The overall market is bearish. If we zoom out on the 4 hour, the overall is bearish. We just break that low. The only way we're gonna be bullish in the 4 hour, we gotta go all the way up here and break that high. I don't think that's gonna happen in this session. I mean, anything can happen. A tweet here, breaking news there. But unless something major happens, I don't see how we're gonna move from 75.06 all the way to 76.90. I don't see it. That's why I'm leaning towards the bullish side, the bearish side. We're shorting. Just waiting for our setup. The play here, the smart play here is a short to get back some of this straight up move. We gotta get the shift first. Market structure shift. Ride and trade. If we can make a higher high again, that would be beautiful. The more highs we make, the more violent the downside gonna be. a Friday, so the volume might not be very high. Let's see what's on Bloomberg. Let's see what this boy's saying on Bloomberg. Make a higher high again, that would be good. The more highs you make, the more volume downside. I've not watched Bloomberg in a while. Where you at, Bloomberg? The volume might not be very high. Let's see what's on Bloomberg. Let's see what the boy's saying on Bloomberg.
Certainty too, so I'm glad to know that, so I can go ahead and get my $20 salad from Sweet Green after $20 all week.
Sad but true, yes.
You had a Sweet Green salad this
I had a
morning.
sweet green before this whole news, or maybe it was during and I wasn't paying attention, but I'm fine.
And you're relieved to hear that they found
So
it
far,
at the source.
but the results they say are the after effects you'll know just a few weeks out. So
Okay.
TBD.
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 Okay.
I'm praying for you as well.
All right, let's get to the developments that kind of are set up for today. Because President Trump
Looks like we're going for another higher high.
last night, speaking on, as usual, all
I
kinds
want
of
that
things.
higher high so I
One
can
way
raise
they
my
think
higher
is
low.
our senior policy analyst joining us
The
from
higher low
Washington.
is formed after the
What was
previous
this
high
one-time
being broken.
address meant to be about? What was it
That's
actually
over.
about?
Until
So
then,
the address was about election interference
the
in
low
2020.
stands.
This is really President Trump signaling that by declassifying information that was largely already known, that there could have been election interference in 2020, and as a result, he was pushing Republicans in the Senate to really embrace this idea of the Save America Act. This is the bill that actually would put additional restrictions and identification requirements on voting. And, President Trump has had very little success in persuading Republicans to embrace that. But I think it's also a signal that President Trump isn't really addressing the one issue that a lot of voters are talking about, and that's affordability. And that's a problem for the president, because every day between now and the election, that he's either focused on election interference or the conflict that Iran, it's not a day that he's focused on affordability. So ultimately, I don't think that speech last night really changed the narrative, nor did it really bring any catalysts. It's just a signal that President Trump isn't really addressing affordability.
And then he also mentioned that he claimed the Chinese government stole voter files, and we have the Chinese Foreign Ministry saying that that's purely fabricated and they are malicious smears. So then, talk to us about how this seems to be just President Trump doubling down on the fraying relationship that the U.S. has with China. Are we at a point where there's no return?
We're not there yet. I mean, obviously, things are going to get a little bit more awkward between the meeting between President Xi Jinping and President Trump that's scheduled for later this year. But there's a lot of time between today and that meeting where things can be walked back. I mean, this wasn't really a speech that was designed for people outside of the United States to look at. This was a speech that was designed for American voters. And, President Trump right now has a very low approval rating. His approval rating is around 37%, according to the most recent Washington Post poll that just came out. And if you look at the prediction markets, the calcium contract, for example, has an 82% chance the Democrats take the House of Representatives in November. Now, President Trump is trying to change the narrative on that, but like I said before, it's very much a struggle because affordability is that one message that voters care about. And when he's talking about China, obviously there are tariff issues, there are issues with the price of oil, etc. But President Trump still isn't taking those issues and then correlating it to what's happening on Main Street, USA.
So when it comes to this Save America Act, and this is something that he has really been hammering home, in fact, not even signing the housing bill because he wanted the Senate to move on the Save America Act. Did this speech, has his lobbying paid off in any way? Is there any movement on it in the Senate?
None whatsoever. I mean, there's a little bit of movement on a specific provision of Save America. So where we're at right now is President Trump wants the Senate to embrace the Save America Act by getting rid of the filibuster. That's not going to happen. Senate Majority Leader John Thune said, look, it's not there. The votes aren't there either just to have a pure up and down vote. You wouldn't even get a 50-person vote on this. So President Trump now wants this to be part of the Reconciliation 3.0 package. Now, the House Republicans released their blueprint on Reconciliation 3.0 earlier this week. It's a $95 billion package, $60 billion for the Department of Defense, $11 billion for farming, but it also includes $10 billion for the Save America Act. Now, you can't include Save America in reconciliation. Senate parliamentarians going to throw it out. But if you give $10 billion to states to implement Save America or to incentivize states to implement Save America, that actually could fly. So you're not going to get a Save America Act, but you're essentially going to get grants to states that will implement it. And as a reminder for a lot of folks watching outside the United States,
Right.
voting rules are dictated by the states. So certain states can look at and say, you know what, we're not going to implement it. Thank you, President Trump, but we're going to have other issues.
Got it. Nathan, thank you so much for clarifying all of that. Nathan Dean is our senior policy analyst joining us from Washington of Bloomberg Intelligence.
A quick reset in markets, Charlotte. We're seeing a sell-off in chip makers pushing the semiconductor index into a bear market, and that's because of worries of AI spending and having to justify that with investors. And our next guest will maybe help us clarify all of that. We have Shelby McFadden, portfolio manager at Multiple Asset Management. I'm so pleased that you can join us today, Shelby. Can you help us make sense of the overnight surprise of the Chinese AI startup Moonshot and how that's causing fears to reverberate in markets? Talk to us about the vulnerability of the AI trade to headline risk.
Yeah, I mean, one of the primary issues is something that we've seen sort of in the network effects, some of the other companies we follow. So looking at a video game company that we follow closely, they make hardware and software. And one of the main issues was, what is memory cost going to really do for them? And so if we lived in a world where we didn't have a big sort of influx of supply coming out of China, then the answer was this could be really detrimental. We could be talking 90% cost increases. But then we're starting to see, wait a second, we can get some demand fulfilled out of this space. A lot of these different U.S. export bans and things are not the end of the story. And it does appear to me that we are seeing the beginning of, wait, we can see some price compression here if we are able to have a little bit more global competition. So I think that's one of the things we're seeing, is that it doesn't mean that this is the end of sort of U.S. primacy in most of global stocks or in chip making or designing, but it does mean it's the beginning of a challenge.
So with this mindset that we're at the beginning of a challenge and that things are shifting long term, how does that set us up for earnings season? Because we've got Alphabet reporting results on Wednesday, the first of the hyperscalers to do so. Are investors going into this set of earnings in a mindset where you have to show me in a way that you haven't before, or are they willing to give these companies the benefit of the doubt?
Scarlett, I think it's absolutely show me in a way you haven't before, because what valuations come down to is time value of money. It's when am I going to get the payoff of all of the value that I believe that you're going to provide? And what we are starting to see is that's getting pushed out a little further and further. And when we have inflation and uncertainty, we get a rise in discount rates. So if you're then pushing out the payoff, increasing the discount rate, today's valuation is going to come down. And so I think investors are definitely itchy to be shown what's happening, because it's been a bit. In the most layman's terms, right? It's been a few years of allowing these premiums to keep succeeding, and folks are starting to realize, okay, there are effects to this. There are first and second order ramifications to the high cost of memory design, manufacture, and then compute. So I do think investors will be saying, show me a bit. Because they want to know where to put their money. The concentration we're living in right now is very much a choice. And investors want to know, should I go back to some of these blue chips? Should I go back to a little bit of income? Show me why I should stay here.
The stakes are definitely high for next week, and you also write in your note that Intel expanding its Google Cloud partnership. So consolidation is the name of the game right now, and we've talked about that for a bit, that it seems to be like this ecosystem of the same names powering
Alright,
each other.
the low has been broken. I'm entering my trade.
Maybe
This
pick a
is
stock
it.
that you want, because there will be a ton reporting next week.
I'm
Yeah,
shorting
definitely.
here.
I mean, for one, you're usually just
Order
strung together.
submitted.
Not always
Place
sometimes
it,
it doesn't work out
I
completely
place my
well.
trade.
There's the shareholder side of it. So
Just
again,
gonna wait,
index
see if we're gonna get a
is
pullback to get me
definitely
triggered.
not shocking to me. I think
There's
what we're
nothing
seeing
else I can
Intel
do.
is what a lot of us investors hoped for on that day. Gosh, I can't remember if it was spring or summer, but I remember getting the breaking news that, wow, the U.S. government's making an investment. And so we are seeing a bit of that turnaround. So I am actually really interested in what the story is going to be with Intel, because it could be such a success story for the United States in
Let's
this
see if
space.
we're gonna get figured
So
in.
I would expect to hear, maybe even if not this quarter, over the coming quarters, Q3, Q4, about more partnerships, because it is a way also to just get yourself in the queue. And to reach certain customers and certain enterprises that you wouldn't otherwise have access to. And knowing how big these companies are, you can't exactly just buy each other. So they have to be able to work together at a subsidiary level and a partnership level in order to experience all those benefits and network effects.
Okay, so watching the hyperscalers, watching Intel, we also get a read on the consumer, the high-end consumer, because American Express reports earnings next Friday, and I know that the consumer and consumer spending is something that we all watch carefully because it's a driver of the economy, at least until recently when it seems like CapEx became the big driver of the economy.
Yeah, absolutely. Consumer spending is going to be interesting. I had a discussion yesterday where, we said 1 month of CPI does not affect decision make, right? And when it comes to retail sales, the question for me in the spring was, let's see how summer goes, right? If we see a soft summer, then we might have some reasons to be a little bit concerned. 1 month of softer retail sales is not soft summer. Okay, we still have to see July, we still have to see August going into back to school. We still have one more hot holiday that spikes up retail sales that we need to get through. So we still have some time there in terms of like the broad consumer. On the upper end, American Express and a lot of the larger banks and card issuers have done a phenomenal job of shoring up their balance sheets. So not expecting to see like a lot of concerning net charge-offs or loan loss provisions. More so, probably maybe a little bit of softness in things like travel, but also maybe not because we did just have we were in the World Cup, right? So I would expect to still be seeing that K-shaped sort of behavior, where the average to below average American household is probably still battling the woes of inflation in a pretty difficult manner, but then seeing some of the higher income customers in American Express being able to sort of bring everything up at the aggregate.
Yeah, absolutely. Shelby, really well said. Shelby McFadden.
Okay, we have been triggered in the trade. We are live.
Showing that people are
We are live.
reward points to pay for everyday
Trade
essentials
triggered.
like kitty litter or gasoline as opposed to spending on discretionary
Our
things.
stop being placed. Either we're gonna get stopped out right now or we're gonna be in the money. Either way, this is it.
So everyone is really just
This is it.
But we now turn our attention of the coverage to the Athens Security Forum. It's happening in Colorado this week. Bloomberg this weekend.
If this low is broken here, I'm gonna reduce my risk.
Senator Chris Murphy.
Once this low is broken, if this low is broken, I will be reducing my risk to the higher, lower high.
Disaster in the last 20 years. Iran effectively has control of the Strait. They are going to have control of the Strait for the long run. As the price of opening that Strait, they want all of those sanctions released, which is going to put a lot of money into their economy, but also allow them to send money out to their proxy groups in the region. This war should have never started. It's hard to figure out what to do now because it's kind of like asking somebody, now that the raw egg is splattered over the floor, how do you put it back together? But it seems as if the United States is going to have to pay that big, billions of dollars to Iran sanctions early, and we're going to have to prevail upon the Israelis to permanently stop the war with Lebanon. And if those two things happen, maybe we can get that strait reopened. I have no confidence that ultimately there's going to be any bigger deal between the United States and Iran. I don't think they're going to make any commitments on the nuclear program. So I guess the best we can ask for right now is to just stop the shooting, get the strait reopened, and we're still seemingly far away from that.
As we look at Humpty Dumpty there on the floor, do you think the administration gets that? So are they still confident that they can stare down Iran, I guess, and find some solution by doing that?
Yeah, I think we sort of can't overhype the degree that just plain old incompetence plays in this story. I mean, the Trump administration doesn't know what it's doing. Its primary diplomats with Iran are the president's son-in-law and a guy who was a real estate developer 2 seconds ago who's never done diplomacy. So it's not surprising that they're failing. They're going to either have to put actual adults, like experienced diplomats, in charge, or they're just going to have to step out of the way and ask our European friends or our Gulf friends to come in and try to seal an ultimate deal on reopening the Strait. So I have very little confidence that this crowd that's in charge of our national security is going to be able to get anything done.
We've seen in recent weeks your colleagues on the other side of the aisle, many of them expressing more reservations about this. Do you detect a real change kind of in their position as this is attenuated as it plays out?
This is, of course, a deeply unpopular war. The American people don't support the war. They want it to end. They're paying the price, not just in higher gas prices and higher diesel prices and higher fertilizer prices, but also in the cost of the budget. This is $100 billion to $200 billion. And what is going to happen is that Republicans are going to cut funding for schools, for transportation, for nutrition, in order to pay for the war. That's part of the reason that the American public don't want it. So as you get closer to the election, this becomes an issue that voters are going to have to deal with, because this will be an issue where voters are going to say, are you for the war or against it? And it's going to matter in their choices. So yes, I expect that you'll get more Republicans saying, time to end the war. For the first time ever, about 3 weeks ago, we passed a resolution in the Senate to end the war. It ultimately was stymied by some procedural moves in the Senate, but there is evidence that Republicans are starting to wake up.
You mentioned Israel a moment ago. I want to go back to that memo of understanding, which it seems was not worth the paper that it was printed on. I think the president would agree with that now. Israel, of course, is not a party to those conversations, and I'm curious how you look at the U.S.'s power to persuade Israel to scale back, pull back its campaign in Lebanon, and change tack.
I think you'll have to use the leverage that we have, and the leverage that we have is our defense relationship, so long as Israel believes that the Trump administration is going to continue to feed them the weapons and the intelligence that they need to carry out war on Lebanon. They're going to continue to carry out that war. That's a very blunt tool. It took me a long time to accept it as a tool to try to influence their behavior in Gaza. But if it is a precondition to getting the Strait open, then we have to consider using that tool, because as long as the Strait is closed, it is American citizens, families, that are bearing the cost.
So let's talk a bit about that political domestic politics here. You mentioned it's a deeply unpopular war. How do you see that playing out in the months ahead? How do you and your fellow Democrats kind of maybe capitalize is not the right word to use there, but highlight the fact that it's as unpopular as it is with the electorate?
What I found in my time in politics is that most of the time foreign policy doesn't matter in elections, until it's sometimes the only thing that it matters. And I do think that this election, it's going to be on the ballot. Even if Trump were to get the Strait reopened today, the cost of a gallon of gasoline or fertilizer is not going to come down to any reasonable level by November. So it will be a voting issue, and the president's foreign policy incompetence. And that agreement you mentioned, that ceasefire agreement, was just an example of incompetence. Right? They signed an agreement committing Israel to do something without Israel at the table. He apparently by accident signed an agreement that actually gave control of the Strait permanently to Iran. His foreign policy disasters are, I think, going to be relevant this November.
All right, that was David Gura speaking with Chris Murphy, the Democratic senator of Connecticut, talking about President Trump's influence on the Republican Party. Let's get a reset of everything and check in with our Alexis Christopoulos for our Bloomberg Business Flash.
All right, thanks very much, Scarlett. This Bloomberg Business Flash is brought to you by Golden Crest Metals. Inflation, tariffs, and volatility have some investors turning to gold for stability. To get a free gold and silver info guide and learn how to add metals to your IRA or 401k tax and penalty free, go to goldencrestmetals.com/guide. That is goldencrestmetals.com/guide. Another day we are seeing the rotation out of semiconductor stocks and into other areas of the market not powered by artificial intelligence. The NASDAQ composite down nearly 300 points, or more than 1% at 25,584. Dow Jones Industrial Average down 46 points. Actually, it was in the green just a short time ago. S&P 500 down about 43 points, or 0.5%. We've got Brent crude up nearly 3% at 86.69 a barrel, and West Texas Intermediate crude is up
There's
more than
nothing to do
3%,
here. All we gotta do is wait. This is what we're waiting for. We're waiting for this low. If this low is broken, then we're gonna reduce our risk to the lowest high.
We've got our eye on
Other than that,
Netflix, that stock is
nothing to
down
see here.
about 9%
Let
over
the
the
play,
4 years
let
after
the
the
trade
company
play out.
forecast its second consecutive quarter of
I'm
slowing
done
sales
being
growth. This is just contributing to investor
scalper.
anxiety about the streaming
I'm a
giant's
move to
future and
move
whether or
trader
not
right
it
now.
has peaked. SpaceX shares tumbling another 4%, putting Elon Musk's rocket ship company on track to wipe out more than $1 trillion in market value from its all-time high. SpaceX hitting a
Let the
record
trade
low
play
today
out.
after the company was forced to
Until
scrap
the
13
slow is tagged,
Starship yesterday, and
until
hopes to
the
get
slow
another
is tagged.
next week.
But we need to bear in mind, this also gonna be the high of the 4 hour. Well, I don't have it on here. But on this chart right here, my Ninja Trader chart, see this? That's the high of the previous 4 hour candle. So that can be a place where it just move back up and stop us out.
Thank you for that. I like this. Let's
Okay?
go with Netflix.
I'm gonna keep an eye on that. Let me move that out of the way.
When it comes to Netflix, but you made a point earlier, Scarlett, that there are already many people that account and where to really take their growth.
Yeah, well, aside from making sure that
Alright, it's getting close to the low. Once this low gets broken, we're moving our stop lower to the lower high.
More than 9%.
But we need to see a break of this low.
Declines in April
It's not broken yet.
2022. And joining us now to help us make sense of this is Geeta Ranganathan, Bloomberg Intelligence Analyst on U.S. media.
The high of the previous 4 hour acted as a support before. Let's hope it doesn't do that again. We need to see the break of that level. It's right there. It would be nice if we don't get an actual full loss on that trade. Oh, I'm tired of losing. Losing sucks. Let's wait for this low to break. It's getting closer. See, it's holding. Getting attacked again. It's getting attacked again. The sellers are getting more aggressive. It's gonna break. I think it's gonna break. Oh, it's holding. Wow, this is a nail biter. Let's see. Another assault coming up. Attacking that low again. When it, you know what I like about when the low is holding like that? When it finally breaks, it's usually an avalanche. It's still holding. The buyer is still fighting back. Let's watch our Bloomberg.
you know the metric that all investors are focused on, which is engagement. Because while
Ooh! Get snapped. Alright, let's reduce our risk right now.
per subscriber is actually declining, and the big worry I think for investors is that
Let's reduce our risk right now. Putting our risk at the high on top of the previous high. Right now, this trade has the potential to be a very big risk reward trade because our risk is reduced. You know, when your risk is reduced, your potential to be a blockbuster high risk reward trade just increased by a lot. You see? Right now, if he plays out everything, now it can be a 10-to-1 trade. Are we going to hold to that? I'm not. Oh, man, this level is still fighting. We're not out of the woods, guys. We can still get stopped out. This level is still fighting. That is crazy.
Doing a little bit more in gaming, but none of these are transformative enough.
That is insane. Look at, I don't like this weeks.
Here, and we're really
This
not
is buying pressure.
maybe
I
M&A,
don't like
maybe
it.
some kind of a transformative partnership, maybe some kind of a big acquisition.
Wow,
Finally,
give up everything.
for Netflix, but
This is sick.
that's so interesting, and I know this is something you've written about, Geeta. This idea that Netflix now has M&A ambitions, when it had kind of denied that it was looking to do that. It's always prioritized organic growth and reinvesting in its own business. What does that
Wow,
say
look at those
about
two candles.
the state of the streaming
Just
industry
reverse
overall that
everything.
Netflix needs to buy to
This is
consolidate
crazy.
its grip on the market? Yeah, I mean, we're really seeing competition
I
kind of
did not see this
intensifying,
coming.
and we're going to see that only intensify further, Scarlett, once Paramount closes on its
So
acquisition of
gross.
Warner Brothers and HBO, and Netflix really needs to kind of
This
beef
is
up the content because
so
obviously
gross.
it's the lack of those breakout hits. Yes, they did have great content, they did have a great pipeline. Yes, we did see good growth in viewing hours, but that's just not enough. As we have more and more of,
Gross.
it's not just competition in streaming though. That's the problem. It's competition from all kinds of platforms. We talked about social media platforms, and that's really what Netflix has to kind of defend its turf against. And for that, they have to come up with bigger, better, more engaging content. And they might very well need to buy a studio for that.
What about the live sports podcast and ads initiative? How meaningful are those when it comes to driving growth? Are you bullish on them? I feel like Scarlett and I were talking about it, and almost everyone has a podcast these days.
To be honest,
Yeah,
guys,
so
I
on the
lost all
margin,
my
I think
confidence
it
in this
definitely
shit.
helps because, at the end of the day,
This is
Netflix
not
is, something you go home to in the
typical
evening and then you're
basketball
watching it.
happening
But I
right
think
there. Should have
with
keep going a
podcasts,
little
it's
bit
something that they're trying to
more,
build on through the
and
day,
then
right? They're
come
trying to
back.
build on
It did not even
engagement.
close not one candle below that low.
Anytime you pick up your phone, you
Oh,
have some
Phil.
content that you
I'm out of
can
here.
kind of listen
I'm
to
done,
or
guys.
look
Fuck
at.
this shit.
That's really what they
This
were
market
trying to
sucks.
go after.
Anyways, that was a very eventful week. I'm gonna have some back testing session this week. I'm gonna stream this live. Hopefully somebody can benefit from. But I'm done with this. Those weeks, those bullish weeks, they're not looking good. Looks like this market's gonna make a new high this trip.
Joining us from Princeton, New Jersey, where she is our Bloomberg Intelligence.
Whatever it does, not my problem. I'm out of here. It's Friday. I'm not gonna let this ruin my mood. That was such a beautiful trade from the bottom here.
Okay, I like that.
The bottom trade here, that's the trade that I really wanted to
Watch
get.
when it's out of the seventh season.
And wrap it up. What that happened to others,
Yes.
this is choppy here.
Because I like
I don't know.
I watched the original.
It's just, that's like
by doing so.
way too much
I like
choppy
it
here.
because it's a reboot and it strips away all
It's choppy here. I don't really,
feel good saccharine part of
doesn't look like it wants to
that
go
was
down.
started Michael Landon. This one is like grittier.
Whenever there's so much chop, it's either gonna take all day to give you a move, or it's gonna finally let it and start going back up. And I don't want to be around for that. I'll just check it later tonight, see what happened, but I don't want it. I don't like this. Screw this. Peace out, everybody. Catch y'all later for the backtesting session.